Good morning. It's a beautiful morning. We have company. We have a new visitor, and I really like him. He's really nice and he's funny. He's one of Maddie's friends. So he showed up last night, and I didn't want to be rude, so I went out there and said hi, and we talked for a little bit, but it was getting chilly. So tonight I think we're going to have a fire and, you know, get to know each other a little bit better. He's like, I know you, you don't know me. I'm like, well, you know the YouTube me, you know. It's like people don't really know you because like I've put out videos before saying, you know, as YouTubers, we only show you what we want to show you. You know, you get the best part of us. Now, if you're one of our members, you might get behind the scenes raw stuff, which I need to put more out there. I keep forgetting. I'll make a behind the scenes video today for my members. And here, let me see. I know everybody's sleeping right now. I don't like to put people on video unless they approve. But, oh, it's cold. It's making me realize I'm not ready for winter. Let's see. Hope nobody's out there. I can't zoom in. That's all you get. I can't zoom in. Oh. I guess when you have the camera pointed the other way, you can't zoom in. Let's see what kind of wild hair day I'm having. I did wash it last night, so. And I did cut my bangs a little bit. But I think I found a place that that one wants to go that way. That's like Roxy. I want to go that way. You want to go that way. Yeah, I have to put some water on that. I did find a place in town, now that we're like near a bigger city, that can give me a proper haircut. So I've got some money that somebody donated that's allocated to my haircut. So thank you very much. Oh, I keep doing this backwards. Anyways, when people donate money and they put specifically like what that's for, you know, I put it aside and that's what I use it for. I don't just use it for whatever I want. So if they say this is for ice cream, then that's my ice cream fund. If they say this is for coffee, then that's my coffee fund. If this is for cake, that's my cake fund. Now cake has been tricky because they gave me a lot of money and, you know, so I had to justify and go, okay, these things fall under the cake category. Any pastries, you know, like cookies. I stopped at a bakery. Oh, that was such a treat to get a pastry after 2 years. And I did buy a bag of cookies. So that money is like, it's almost like it has little, you know, envelopes. And it's like, do you remember the old days when you would budget, you put different money in different envelopes and you'd mark this one like, okay, this goes to this and this goes to that. And then whatever was left over, you know, it could be, you know, treat or entertainment. I don't know if you guys are that old school or were that poor. But yeah, those were old school ways, the different envelopes. So now, you know, I have everything written down, allocated. What I need to do is increase my emergency fund in case there's an emergency. I think Bob Wells was talking about, like, if you have an RV, it should be, you know, $10,000. I don't even have anything close to that. And if you have a car, it should be, you know, closer to like 3, or a truck, you know, maybe 5,000. I mean, imagine if something major goes wrong. Thank goodness I've got that one credit card. That's what I count on for emergencies. And I've been really good about paying it off before it's due so that there's no interest. There was 1 month that I had interest, and that just made me sick to my stomach because that's just wasted money. Wasted money. I hate debt. Anyways, where was I? How did I get on this rabbit trail? Anyways, but it's so cold right now, I just realized, like, I am not prepared for winter. These mornings are so chilly. The days are perfect, right? But it's the morning. So I have to figure out a way where I'm going to be warm in my rig once I get out of bed. Like, I've now gotten enough blankets to where I'm okay. But I want to be able to walk around and my hands, you know, aren't hurting like right now. I do have some hand warmers. We used those the last few nights when it was really, really cold. I'm like, Maddie, do you want some of these? Because I found them. I'm like, I didn't even know I had these. Hopefully they still work. But I've heard that there's chargeable ones. That would be nice if a company sends me one of those to review. I've got those heated vests. And somebody had said, you know, why don't you sleep in one of those? And it's like, you don't realize there's a big battery pack in your pocket. So it's like, it would just make it weird. And plus it says on there, like, don't sleep in these. But Maddie gave me a really nice electric blanket. And so we bartered, you know. I had something he wanted. He had that. I was just like, yes, please. We've done some really good bartering this last, you know, few months. Like, we're pretty good about it. And it's like, that might be how the world turns out, where you have to barter. So, I know a lot of you guys don't want to see these review videos from everybody, and I don't blame you, but, you know, that's our bread and butter. Like, that's how either we can make money. I don't get paid from any of these sponsors, but I could really use the products, you know. Sorry. When it gets cold, my nose drips. Just like Roxy. We're twins. We got drip. There's a song that I put a video one time about her with her drip. Drip means like you got style, you know, you got drip. It's a new term. It's what the kids say, right? It's so funny. To me, I always like cringe when I hear someone say like a word that's really meant for the kids, you know. When you're older, it's like, leave it for the kids. Don't try to be all cool and say words that are like, you know, I don't know. To me, it's just like, oh, it's so cringe. Like that word, right? Oh my goodness. But I do have boys that are in their late 20s, early 30s. And I've picked up certain words from them, you know, but there was a lot of times when they would say certain things and I was like, what does that mean? Like, what? You know, because only the kids know when they first come out. And so I was learning them as, you know, they were coming out. But now that I don't live with my kids, it's like I'm so out of touch. And plus, I wouldn't want to be one of those parents that are just still trying to be like 20 or 30, you know, when you're in your 50s and 60s. Just grow old gracefully and talk like an old fogey. Complain about everything. That's what old people do. You know, they complain about everything. I'm not going to be one of those people, though. There's not a lot for me to complain about. You know, sure, there's, you know, you go through hardships, but, you know, that's what that's what builds character. That's what builds strength. Like, if we had it easy all the time, like, we would just be so cringe. No, that's not how you properly use that word. We would just be so weak, you know? So there's times when we have to just struggle a little, just a little. So we could appreciate when things are good. We could appreciate when we're not in the struggle. I mean, that's just part of life. It's like you're going to go in your ups and you're going to go in your downs. Nothing lasts forever. So appreciate it. And then when it's hard, just know that it's not going to last forever. Nothing. I always say, there's a saying that I have that says, now is not forever. Now is not forever. So, and plus it allows you to have more compassion for people that are struggling, because you've been there. You've walked in their shoes, in a sense, you know? You've walked that path. And so you're just like, oh, I remember those days. Let me help that person, you know, because I really appreciated the help, you know, when I was at that point. And so it builds that compassionate muscle, I guess, or part of you. And, you know, being on both sides, it helps you learn to be a receiver and a giver. You know, for the longest time, I could not receive. And I still have a hard time receiving. But I've learned from God that, like, you can't be a good giver if you can't be a good receiver. So, you know, otherwise you put yourself above everyone else if you're always giving and you're just like, oh no, I'm too good to receive, or I'm too proud to receive, or, you know, that's just beneath me. It's like, then that's how you're thinking about that person when you're giving. So these are things I've learned in my old age. Such wisdom. Oh my goodness. Anyways, ooh, all the wildlife is coming to see me. A beautiful bird just came by. I had a squirrel. Now I have a bird. That's all I need. I don't want bears. I don't want elk. I don't want, you know, all the hunters are out. So we got to really be careful not wandering. And I tend to do that. I tend to wander. I mean, that's how this place came to be. It was just like I went for a walk. And all of a sudden, this place was opened up to me. And I was just like, oh. And I was just like, I gotta go back and get Maddie. We gotta pack up and leave. And as soon as I got back, I'm like, Maddie, you gotta come with me. He puts on his sandals and I'm like, can you go on a hike? He's like, can I go on a hike? These are my good sandals. I'm like, let's go. And then when we got over here, he's like, let's go pack up. Let's get over here before someone takes it. And I'm like, no one's going to take it. You know, the season's over. This season is over. We have it all to ourselves. Every bit of perfect land and property, we have it all to ourselves. So we're really appreciating. We've got a couple more weeks together, and then we're going to go our separate ways. And so we've got prime. I mean, we're ending it with, like, you couldn't end it better than the spot that we have. So it's almost like going out with a bang. Right on the river, which is what I've been looking for. We had spot number 4 over near Buena Vista, which was epic. And this is better. This is just as good or better. This is better. You don't have to, like, you know, risk your life going down a road or up a road and worry about having to back up a road that's like narrow and steep in one lane. And you don't have to go through the trees and everything and worry about Mr. Two Beers hiking through there. I think we talked about Mr. Two Beers. And you can leave your chair right there. I can see my chair right here. It's so perfect. Anyways, I'm just chatting away. It's because everybody else is sleeping. Roxy's sleeping. The boys are sleeping. So it's just you and I. Oh my goodness, it's almost 15 minutes. Okay. Thank you for having a listening ear and patience and, you know, just being there and supporting me and supporting Roxy and supporting us on the road. You guys have been amazing. Some of you guys have gone above and beyond. It's because of a handful of you guys that we are going to be okay for the next month, possibly the next 2 months. I think we're okay. And then we just take it day by day. I really need to find a job that will allow me to have Roxy. I almost had one. Well, it wasn't a job. It was a place to park. It was a place to park, and I would be working there, and that would be in exchange for me parking there, and Roxy could be with me. But I wouldn't have cell signal, 1. 2, it just felt too secluded. I didn't feel at peace with it. Even though there was a gate, I just didn't feel at peace. So I prayed about it, just didn't have peace about it. So the search continues. So meanwhile, I'll be at Quartzsite. So I was going to go straight there to this place, but I thought, no, I just didn't have peace about it. So yeah, I might talk about that privately. I like to keep certain things private, and I might not even talk about it. You know, us YouTubers, we got to have some part of our life that's private. So hopefully you guys understand that. I mean, if you guys know, part of my life is really private. You know, my husband and my house back at home, you know, that's an inside joke. There's a couple people that have said that I'm not really a nomad. I have a husband and a house. I was telling Maddie, like, if that's the worst thing somebody says about you, that's not bad. Where is this husband in this house? All right. On that note, we will end it, and have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.